Do you ever talk to yourself, feel conflicted, feel like there's a lot of things going on upstairs? We all have internal voices. Like we all talk to ourselves. Nobody likes to talk about it because it makes us sound crazy. But we all have these sort of voices in our head going around talking to us. Now, are they us or are they other people? Sometimes in coaching and therapy, we call this parts work, and people talk about these internal conflicts. Now, I want to share something today that's a very interesting and different way of using parts work that combines hypnosis and a few other interesting aspects, and how you can use this work and with the metaphors of movement framework to bring things together in a very interesting and different way. So I'm currently taking a training course called Conference Room. This is a training run by the Alchemy Institute, headed by David Quigley. David, love you. So David has created something called alchemical hypnosis. And alchemical hypnosis essentially combines elements of hypnosis, shamanism, Jungian archetypes, and a lot of other different spiritual modalities. So if you're into a lot of spirituality, archetypal symbolism, things like that, and you do hypnosis, this could be a very interesting angle for you. I'm going to put a link in the comments if you want to have a little look about what sort of courses and things they run. Anyway, I'm doing one of the more advanced courses, which is called Conference Room. And the way Conference Room works, essentially you pick a challenge or an issue and you elicit essentially a conference room, essentially a table of all these different parts, all these different voices that are sort of going on under the surface. Some of them may be more positive, some of them may be more challenging. And yeah, you work through that as a process. Now, I'm not going to talk about the whole process. I'm also halfway through learning it. But what it's done is it's opened a whole new door into how you can communicate and consciously understand what's going on with some of these sub-personalities or these parts. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you an elicitation that I did, and I'm going to talk through, using the metaphors of movement languaging, this experience. Cool. So here it is. So if you look at this diagram, you've got, imagine this, the circle is like a clock face, so to speak. So we've got a certain time. So I'm at 6 o'clock. Next to me is my inner child, for those who love an inner child. At 12 o'clock, we've got a judge. 1 o'clock, we've got a juggler. 11 o'clock, we've got a servant girl carrying dishes. 3 o'clock, we've got the guilty, and they're in prison. About 4:30, we've got the dictator, interesting name, but they're taking notes on everything. Behind me, you've got the torturer and the tortured, lovely. To the bottom left, so about 7 o'clock, we've got a hunchback servant who's a bit deformed. 7 o'clock, we've got a skeptical woman or like a critic. And then like about 10 o'clock, we've got darkness and a raped woman. So, and in the middle, we've got a sword in the stone. So now I'm going to use the metaphors movement framework to communicate what I see within this. So ultimately, I'm on the stand. I'm in a position where it looks like I'm being judged. It looks like I've been put on trial. And ultimately, I look forward to be judged. It could be said I look forward to judgment being placed upon me. Or I'm in a space where things are being weighed up. I'm being tried. I'm being tested to see if I'm found guilty or innocent. Now, what's right in front of me is juggling a lot of things. A lot of things are up in the air. There are a lot of things in motion, and I'm juggling them. Now, similarly, what's left in front of me is I'm a servant girl carrying lots of dishes. So there's lots of things to handle. There's lots of things to serve, or there's lots of things to clean up that are essentially taking my time. So ultimately, there's a lot of things in front of me that I see I need to handle. I see I need to juggle. Now, that's very true in my real life as well. Now, what's further right in front of me looks a bit guilty. And they are already guilty. So there's right in front of me, there's something guilty, or there's something in prison. There's something who's already been found to have done wrong that's right in front of me. And further to the right of me is someone dictating. So the right thing is dictating where things are. The right thing is remembering everything that's been, everything that is. And right behind me is something being tortured. Ultimately, they're on a rack, though. Those of you who know what a rack is, it stretches the person. So ultimately, what's right behind me is a lot of stretching. Now, my background to this is stretching me, but it's going to stretch that part of me And once something gets stretched to a certain standpoint, it's deformed. It's no longer the way it is. So it's really stretching a part of me that will no longer exist in the same way that it did before. Now, what's left behind is not really fully formed or is a bit deformed. And yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a servant as well, but that's left in the background. Now, what is left for me to do is quite skeptical about the whole thing, maybe quite critical about the whole thing. And this is another part that's not really taking a stand. Like the skeptic is not really like taking a stand for anything. Now, what's left in front of me is actually quite dark. It could be said maybe quite abused, quite vulnerable. But what I look forward to in the center point of all this seems quite magical. Some might say it seems quite fantastical. Some could say this whole thing is just a bit of a story. But if we look at the story of the Sword and the Stone, it's about a boy, potentially me, becoming a king. But to become a king, he needs to earn it, he needs to step into it, he needs to own it. So maybe this whole scene, this whole story, this whole scenario is built around the concept of me coming into becoming a king, or actually to see, well, are you the true king? Are you really the person who's up to the job of taking this responsibility, of taking up this weapon to bring things forward? So that's me using the metaphors of movement languaging within the context of this conference room experience. Now, similarly, I could associate to different elements within the archetypal experience, and I could idiomize and look at the relationships and analyze them. Now, conference room that I'm learning has different aspects to it, has more aspects to it, which I'm not going to go into. That's for those who want to take the training. But if you're doing parts work or archetypal work, this could be a very interesting exploration. If you know the metaphors of movement framework and the languaging within that, it could be very, very helpful and very interesting. And if you've done alchemical hypnosis and you're intrigued by this level of languaging, do drop me a message. I've got a metaphors of movement training coming up at the end of this month, but this is just one insight. Metaphors of movement ultimately gives you a way of learning how to communicate unconscious experience. And this conference room is a way of doing just that. So as much as the conference room experience in itself creates change and creates shifts, the metaphors of movement work really helps to add an extra level of conscious understanding to things that doesn't impose context or meaning. So that's your daily dose with Dell. I hope you found this interesting. If you have, do comment below. As I say, links are in the description if you want to find out more from the Alchemy Institute. Have a great one. Keep on taking steps, and I'll catch you at the next one.